Hey guys and gals, it's Nancy and Ritter, the girl in that movie screen, and you're watching Sit Down by the Fire with Aaron.
Why, hello, everybody. This is Eric Vierthaler, host of the podcast Sit Down by the Fire. I'm here with my next special guest. Please introduce yourself.
Hey, you guys, my name is Tyrone Kevin Perry, but you can just call me Ty for short, like thank you. How y'all doing today?
Oh, yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And I also want to thank you for taking time out of your day to be here.
Thank you very much for having me. I truly appreciate it and honored to share any experience that would be motivational to people, especially for those who can relate to it.
Oh, yeah, certainly. Anytime. So, how about that you take my audience back to the beginning? What exactly inspired you to go on to this journey?
I've always been a creative, physically creative kid since I was young, and all I can remember, always performing and dancing and moving. And I guess that was not only just within my genetics, because both of my parents are also people who were able to entertain and have artistry when they were younger as well too, but just a lot of energy that I had in general as a kid. Um, After being diagnosed with ADHD, that also assisted my mother and my grandmother, who were both raising me at different points in my life, to try to find creative outlets for me to be able to hone in on discipline and grow from there. Because discipline is basically the basis of most things. So once I was able to get discipline and utilize all of that energy into something creative, dancing was one of the things, and acting or anything of that physical type of expression that always intrigued me and stimulated me and had a natural knack for. So it started when I was young, doing all of those things and programs, after school programs that basically had dance, acting, or something of theater in it, or physical movement. And then that slowly but surely gravitated towards me being in the first dance group that I was a part of, called Mahogany, in my high school years. That's when I started to learn like the style of hip hop that was mainly done in Boston, and started to expand my artistry and the hip hop style of dance, which was my forte at first. Then I expanded to other different types of styles, and some of the basic styles like jazz, um, tap, ballet, modern, and even contemporary. So once I got some of those technical trainings in there, that was a blessing. Moving on into my high school years, going into another group after I graduated high school called Originations, which still is in Massachusetts to this day. That beautiful company allowed me to grow in my artistry as a young man, to also understand the professional aspects of the professional performance entertainment industry, while assisting me to hone in on those dance crafts and skills, from the hip hop to the other technical styles, tap, jazz, modern ballet. Um, and that accelerated my career in dancing first and foremost. I also was in the singing group when I was younger as well too, and did a TV show with singing, but singing was kind of like a more slower road for me. So I took to dancing a bit more, which propelled certain aspects of my career to where I'm at today.
Awesome. Yeah. And thank you for sharing all that. Yeah.
Mhm.
And from what I've seen on your social media, like of your dance moves,
Mhm.
holy crap, like you have talent.
Thank you so much. I mean, I'm honored
Yeah.
to have what I do have, and honored to be able to be those that are physically talented to try to express something. So it's wonderful to even have the talent and the blessings that I do have. So thank you for noticing it.
Oh, yeah. Certainly, and yeah, and I mean, I can only imagine just for you to be able to pull off the moves like that you do. I can
Mm.
imagine that, I mean, going back to when you said that you have to really, learn how to discipline yourself, and I mean, just having to, keep up on your body, like to go to the gym and all that. Yeah, I mean, I can imagine that that's one of the ways how that you're able to pull that off.
That's a great thought process to bring that in. I actually am about to start going to the gym maybe on the first of next year so that I can kind of like slightly bulk up a bit more, not too much because certain flexible and agile movements that you need, you don't want too much of a strong body, a
Right.
muscle mass to be able to hold you down or restrict your movements because the more muscles, even though it's beautiful, it can be slightly restricting unless you actually work on stretching your body. So most of my exercises usually are when I'm at the studio and when I'm about to teach a class or not. And then if I'm not in the studio or gym to be able to like work on stretches and keeping my body, the facility of my body good, I try to maintain exercising on simple things that I do on a daily basis, almost like Mr. Miyagi style from the Karate Kid back in the more classical aspects of the movie. He was teaching, Mr. Russo how to do blocks and other types of things, but he was doing it in mundane, regular tasks before he taught him the actual martial arts aspect of it. So I kind of do workouts on a daily basis where I walk long distances consistently to work on my respiratory system, to work on endurance. I do that consistently so that I can be happy, try to be in nature when the weather allows it.
Right.
And like when I'm walking up steps, I'll probably skip maybe one or two mostly, just so I can also get the workouts on my legs consistently working on stretching and strengthening at the same time. So I make regular movements, things that allow me to work on my body daily so that I don't take a break in it.
Right, yeah. And I also can imagine it's not only the exercise you have to keep up with, but I also can imagine that, I mean, of course, having fast food every now and then probably will be fine, but it's just that I can imagine like they probably really have to watch what it is that you eat, though.
Yeah, well, that is true. I used to eat, a fast food diet or um the like a diet that most of us usually eats in America, which is standard. You'll eat whatever foods that taste good and feel good for you for the most part, as long as we're fed and full to that degree. I did learn how to use my food as my first source of medicine, so I do eat organic and non-GMO food now. I don't sacrifice flavor or texture because I still eat some of the things that I want. French fries, I'll just go for an organic version. I watch, what companies I actually eat at, and the oils that they use because I'm also the same way. So that does assist, and I've been doing it for about going on 13 years now, which is wonderful. Um, and I learned that when I was living in Las Vegas, fully pursuing my professional performance career as a dancer, mainly out there on the Las Vegas Strip and in some of the shows that I was a part of before moving back to Boston, Massachusetts. And I, just like everybody else, especially when we don't have a nutritionist on board, because most of our doctors aren't nutritionists, they will just send us to one, which is called a specialist. So these are different terms that people that we're not accustomed to when it comes to just medical language, because our doctor should be our nutritionist as well as our PCP, primary care provider, for any other thing. That's what we entrust them for. That's what we think. But no, there's different levels to this. So a nutritionist is very important because they teach you how to utilize your food to be your first source of medicine, as opposed to your first potential source of poison, which if you don't eat healthy, you are incrementally poisoning yourself on a daily basis, therefore aging yourself quicker. And that's, and that will go from anything from performing like I do, whether it comes to doing some backflips into what we call a dip. Other people will call it a death drop. But I do certain types of movements that are like quick and they're explosive. And if done incorrectly, they can definitely damage my body. And without the right type of fuel and nutrition, I wouldn't be able to still perform them at the age that I currently am. So that is true that I do eat healthy now, and I've started it for about 13 years. And it wasn't as difficult as a journey that it does seem like it is because I had to do it for myself without a nutritionist and slightly became one for other people. So I don't sacrifice flavor just to eat healthy. I understand that spices are very much the stars of the dish, whether you have meat or not. And it's just about trying to eat to your blood type and eating healthy, understanding what that means. Yeah, that's all.
Oh yeah, certainly so. And it reminds me of a saying that do something what your future self like will be thankful for. And I mean, although it might be nice in that moment, like to have something unhealthy like pizza or a cheeseburger, but all that definitely will catch up. And not only will it catch up on the physical aspect, but it also can catch up to your mental health too.
Yes, that's true. Or try to find healthier versions of that. Like there's organic pizzas that one can either make themselves or, utilize from certain companies. It might not be accessible everywhere, but if you actually make more of your food yourself, you're able to control what you're actually able to intake and therefore have a much more of an appreciation with it. If cooking is not really someone's forte, but learning how to do so bit by bit, even with the most simplest tasks, can help not only with money, which we all need assistance with, trying to make sure that we're financially stable and intelligent with our resources and finances, but also just being more hands-on with the food and then researching bit by bit what companies are aligned with where you're trying to go with your food intake. So yeah, you can have pizza. Just try to get organic pizza or make it yourself. French fries, the same thing. Get potatoes that from a farmer you trust or from a company that uses healthy oil and natural salt. Those things are still decent. And you can eat that in moderation or not because it's more healthier than what we're used to eating, like at McDonald's or somewhere else. Yeah.
Right, yeah, of course. And it's one of those things you just got to know how to separate your wants. Just got to separate your needs over with your wants.
Mm,
And yeah, just got to be aware of the current economy and if it fits in within your budget and
mhm.
yeah, and it also depends on where you get your food. And yeah,
Yeah.
and if it's from a certain company, it definitely would be good to do your research like on said company.
Yeah.
And yeah, and especially in this day and age, like with the advent of the internet, it definitely has made doing research a heck of a lot easier. Like I've known people like when they had to do their research, it was before the internet really got popular, that they would have to go to a library and find a book on it. Well, I mean, of course, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with doing it that way, if said person wants to, but it's just that the internet definitely has made it a lot more convenient, though.
I agree with that, definitely, especially if it's used the correct way. You can use the internet to enhance your knowledge, expand it as much as possible, or you can use it for a distraction. But I'm happy that there's a lot of content out there that people are able to learn some type of knowledge that was once inaccessible to many people unless you were doing a certain course or unless you had access to libraries and thesaurus and things of that nature, which we don't necessarily have to be restricted to now. So that's amazing. And I agree with you on that.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, certainly. And yeah, and I am definitely really glad to hear that, that you and I are on the same page about that. So yeah,
Yeah.
so you and I first met because of the National Performance Academy, and which I
Mhm.
am definitely very thankful about that. And just for my audience could be aware, this isn't by no means like a paid promotion, it's
Right.
just how me and Tyrone met.
Yes.
So how I personally found out about National Performance Academy, and I'll be curious to hear about how you found about them. What I learned in business is that your social media actually will be tailored to whatever it is that you are interested in.
Mhm.
And then like with my case, because I'm interested in, filmmaking and acting, I just saw like a sponsored ad come up on my Facebook news feed about the National Performance Academy. And I was like, hey, why don't I give it a shot? There were no guarantees I was going to get in, but yeah, I will not forget that when I was in that Zoom room, there were so many people there, and I'm like, wow, they're going to be auditioning all of us, and I'm going against all these people. I was like, fingers crossed. I was nervous, but I didn't want to be too nervous, and yeah, and then, but yeah, and then Kat actually was the person like who took me into the separate Zoom room, and then ironically, she ended up being both of our teachers, and yeah, and
Love
then
cat.
what I very vividly recall, it was on my very last day of that college semester was when I got a text from somebody at National Performance Academy saying that they've accepted me in. I was so
Yeah.
happy, and my adrenaline like was going,
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty hard. It was pretty hard to do my final exam with my adrenaline going that high. But luckily
Yeah.
for me, though, my final exam, I actually did get an A, and so that's
Yeah.
pretty awesome. And
Congratulations.
yeah, and then that's my story about how I found out about National Performance Academy. So I guess so yeah. So how about that? You tell my audience, how did you find out about it?
Well, that's a great question on that one. So for me, my algorithm, and especially since I'm both on Facebook and Instagram, but I utilize my Instagram a lot more since I have a lot more video and picture content, and Instagram is kind of more tailored towards that. So I saw that as an ad going scrolling through my regular feed on the home screen, and did a bit of research just to make sure I was looking at the comments and everything else because I didn't want to invest in anything that the one I could get here as well in Massachusetts with Boston Casting that we do have, or any other place that would be more reputable. Because being in an industry for quite some time, especially since starting at the age of 18, I'm currently 38, so 28 years in the business, at least in the professional aspect, where I've had to like put resumes together and audition and be a part of agencies, so on and so forth. I can now see the difference between um, scams or potential scams, where it's kind of like a pseudo scam, but not really, and ones that are reputable and valid. So I found them to be reputable and valid. And I wanted to take an opportunity last year while trying to figure out my occupational field job, that would allow me to be financially stable here in Massachusetts. I wanted to also figure out what I could do to enhance my career in acting, because natural skills or anything can only take you but so far, especially if you don't have the right type of training and the right time frame that could propel you forward, or prepare you for something that's coming in the future that you can actually land. And I've experienced that quite a few times. For example, having natural talent but not being trained appropriately with the right types of things to sing. When In the Heights was an actual Broadway play before it became a movie, I had the opportunity to play the character of Graffiti Pete, and I auditioned for it twice. The first time I did decent, but didn't make it. The second time I made it all the way to the final round, and I killed the dancing audition process, which was 3 different times in New York City, and I lived in Boston, Massachusetts. So I had to go a few times just to audition. In the last audition process, I had to, after acing 3 different dances, I had to sing a certain song, bring in a score, and do that, but I couldn't sing a song that was a part of the play, because that would be considered cheating. So they wanted to see my vocal range. I was trained vocally, but I wasn't trained in the proper way to prepare for an audition for theater. So therefore, I flopped that and never got the opportunity, and never got a chance to play Graffiti Pete, who was played by somebody else. And there goes my Broadway opportunity, and I haven't had another one since then. So
Oh,
that
I'm sorry.
bringing that back, which is not necessarily a sorry. These are beautiful things that help you to be the person that you are, because you're going to get a lot of no's in this industry before you get yeses. It's about
Yep.
your perseverance of moving forward. So having that in mind, I vowed never to make the same mistake. So I always try to be more prepared, and that's where National Academy came into play after seeing the ad on Instagram. And then when I joined in, I also was auditioned by Kat on the side, in one of the personal rooms before being potentially picked, which I was blessed to be picked. I was really happy and ecstatic as well too, because no matter how many years in the industry or experience, you're not going to necessarily get a yes just because you have a lot of experience. You can still get no's. So I was happy that they found me to be a person that would benefit from that academy and from the training courses that we had, and they thought that I had potential. So I was happy, and then I got a chance to meet all of you guys as well too while we trained.
Awesome, yeah, and reminds me of a saying that every no brings you closer to your yes. And I mean, granted,
Yeah.
does it suck to get that no? Yes, but at the same time, you know, just because someone tells you no, it doesn't automatically mean that you're not talented. It doesn't
Correct.
automatically mean that you're not good enough. Oftentimes, it's just simply because you were not the kind of person who they were trying to look for said part. Like,
Yes.
there have been roles I've been rejected for because of my long hair, but there also have been roles I got because of my long hair. So,
Which the term for that would be typecasted. You are more than likely typecasted for a part by your look for the most part, and that's also another thing that a lot of us as entertainers need to be more wise about too. If we're going to go and spend our time and money for an audition, don't just blindly go for it. Do the research, especially if it's a dancing audition, acting audition, whatever audition in the industry, both dancing and acting, singing, whatever. Know the person who you're auditioning for, especially for dancers. Know the choreographer that is going to be at that audition audition for the artist that you want to go on tour, a music video for, so that you can have an understanding of their style, what they like to look for, so that you can present that best version of yourself and also prepare for the content that you need to be prepared for. Because not only are you going to learn something that's either going to be scripted or choreographed for you to learn, but there is a freestyle aspect of it as well too that you need to also master, which brings out the version of you that should set you apart from everybody else or bring that character to life, whatever the case may be. So yeah, you learn that with those notes.
Oh yeah, certainly so. And man, I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty surprised that that when I took National Performance Academy, and of course, since you and I were in the same class, you of course
Mhm.
remember this as well. But yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of it like was about like commercial acting. When I got used to like theater acting, and film acting, well, yes, all of it is acting, but yeah, theater acting definitely is very different, like from film acting because theater acting you have to be a lot more exaggerated, you have to be a lot louder with your voice, and
Yeah.
but yeah, but I definitely do still recommend any actor to do both, just so in
Mhm.
that way that you can get that experience in. And what I thought was perfect for me, since that I didn't have experience like with commercial acting, not long after I got accepted into National Performers Academy, that I actually got to be in a commercial myself. And so yeah, and I mean just talk about getting into it at just the right time.
Right. It wasn't that because, as you said, when we spoke previously, you told me about that wonderful news. Once again, congratulations to that, by the way, because that's wonderful. And to many more of those successes coming your way. You didn't mention that the stuff that we rehearsed directly correlated to you being able to book that commercial, which was amazing. And then you can make the connections there with directors and the people in the back, script writers, so on and so forth, that will be able to propel you forward in the industry because it's also about making those connections and being the best version of yourself while you're on set. So that was amazing that you got a chance to do that.
Oh yeah, certainly. I definitely really do appreciate that. And yeah, and I mean, of course, networking it definitely is essential for filmmaking. But even what I've noticed, filmmaking or not, and I mean just meeting the right people. I mean, all these previous doors that were unavailable, they and then become available once when you meet the right people.
Yeah, the doors then open, correct. Yeah. That is true. So, I mean, yeah, I do also recommend, just like you said, anybody trying to at least go to National Performance Academy, especially if you don't within your state have like an acting agency to be able to assist you with classes that will come forward. National Performance Academy is amazing, and they do have wonderful connections as well too. I didn't get a chance to do the second round and go further, but the second round is where you get a chance to do a talent showcase, and then that's where you're exposed to a lot of Hollywood execs that should be able to propel you forward if you're able to be accepted by an agent, management, or even directors that may be interested in you for next work. So, yeah, I do definitely also agree with you with referring them as well to.
Oh yeah, certainly so. And I'm just going back to the whole thing about being told no. I mean, uh, you really the only time when you truly fail is when you stop putting in the effort.
Yes, truly, and that is why you have to keep going, no matter the no's, because you have to believe in yourself more than other people will believe in you, so that it can become, manifested and infectious in a good way. So, yeah, always believing in yourself, which therefore motivates you to enhance all of your skills, whatever you feel like you have to offer at the end of the day. And if you look at, I like to look at my gifts as a way of entertaining people to be of service to humanity, then you're never going to lose, as opposed to looking for a monetary gain and being rich. Because you can be at the top at one moment in this industry and then become a has-been or forgettable the next moment. So you just really want to be able to have the connections, be happy, and allow your artistry to fulfill you and make you happy while you are entertaining other people and bringing them out of dark moments, or even showing them certain things that could be very deep in that artistry, but they can relate to it because they needed that release. Yeah. So
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, even if somebody does hit rock bottom, I mean, we do have examples like Robert Downey Jr. Where they
Yeah.
were a drug addict and in a lot of legal trouble, and then he was able to turn his career around. He was able to turn his life around
Mhm.
when he got cast in the original Iron Man. And
Mhm.
but yeah, and originally it was going to be Tom Cruise who was going to be cast in that role. But Tom Cruise being Tom Cruise, he wanted more money. And Robert Downey Jr. He definitely was a name at that time, but he not as big as he is now. And so, of
Correct.
course, because he wasn't as big of a name, he was going to be cheaper. And yeah, and everybody does agree, and I have that gut feeling that you probably do agree too, that Robert Downey Jr. definitely was the right choice to play the character. And on top of that, just talk about such an inspiring story, like about about redeeming
Yes,
yourself.
redemption. Yeah, I agree, Robert. I don't think I could personally see as of this day moving forward another person that fit Iron Man the way that Robert Downey Jr. did, the way that he immersed himself into the character, and weirdly enough, almost looked like the character from the comics as well too. He was the best choice, and probably the closest that we will get to a real live Iron Man ever. So yeah, I agree with you with that. He made it. He made that for sure.
Oh yeah,
And that is a good story, yeah.
certainly so. And I mean, although I'm not gonna lie, like say in like a what if scenario, if I could, I guess I would be curious to see how Tom Cruise's Iron Man would have been like. But at the same time, I hate to be redundant, but they definitely did do the right call.
Yeah, they did, they did. Um, Thinking about Tom Cruise's acting history and how he has done Mission Impossible or Minority Report and things of that nature, because definitely old enough to remember those movies. Therefore, and even some of the early movies of his time, I could see him doing a more serious version of Iron Man. I just don't know how his comedy bits would be if he would be able to bring that to life because Robert Downey Jr. had quirky comedy, hits that were very natural and authentic to him. That I don't know that. Yeah, Tom Cruise would definitely bring a different aspect, if you will, to the Iron Man perspective. I wouldn't say that it would be bad either. It would just be a different take on it. But I love Robert Downey Jr.'s version, and I can't think of another one that would be better, personally.
Oh yeah, and I mean, knowing that Marvel currently is doing the multiverse saga, I mean, it's
Yeah.
definitely possible. It's definitely possible that maybe as like a cameo in a future movie. I mean, although this is not confirmed, but just a fan theory that I have, maybe in Avengers Doomsday, that we might see a cameo from Tom Cruise as Iron Man in that. But yeah, I mean, it's although there's no guarantees, but it certainly is possible.
That's true. That's true. So it might be possible. And I wonder what he is going to do with the other character that he's going to be moving forward with as well too in the Marvel universe, which is interesting. So after Iron Man unfortunately died off after Infinity War, I think that he was confirmed to play another character in the Marvel's universe. I did forget who the character was, but I'm interested to see how he's going to put that take on it too and bring us into that world.
But yeah, so it's actually Doctor Doom from the Fantastic Four movies, as to who he got cast as. I mean, it's very interesting. I never was expecting Robert Downey Jr. to come back as Doctor Doom, but yeah, I mean, they definitely will be playing up on the multiverse angle with
Yes.
that. Like, it's I'm pretty confident to say that his Doctor Doom probably will be a variant of Tony Stark that ended up being Doctor Doom. And yeah, I definitely was not expecting that.
Either I was like, oh, okay, well, we'll see what he's gonna do with that one. But also excited as well too because he did an amazing job with Iron Man, especially with that being a wonderful redemption piece for him as well too, which is always motivational for the rest of us to know that no matter the note that we get, if we're really passionate about this, to keep moving forward because somebody at some point will see you and will say yes, especially if you take the time to continue to work on yourself. Um, just because you feel that within you that you have something to share, and that's what art is, something to share.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the beautiful things about art is that, like somebody could be going through a really, really rough time in their life, but yet, if they watch so and so movie or so and so play or read so and so book,
Yeah.
that knowing that it really can turn their life around.
Yeah. It touches them. It also is another form of therapy, another form of escape from certain types of situations, which can allow people to survive. Artistry is definitely something that's a wonderful thing for humanity and a source of expression, and has been able to also be used for like us. What could I say when it comes to protesting? And if you want to protest peacefully, art has always been a way to find provocative, impactful ways to also even protest in a peaceful manner. Mhm.
Oh
So
yeah,
it's very important.
certainly so. And what I feel pretty confident to say is that I feel like it's safe to say that one of the reasons why Lion King ended up becoming such a popular movie and then a popular Broadway show is that everybody identifies with loss and and then especially with the whole message at around the very end is that yes, the past can hurt, but either can run from it or you can learn from it.
Right.
And yeah, and that's something that resonates with a lot of people, and it definitely does teach people resilience.
Yes.
And and yeah, and not only is Robert Downey Jr. also an example of resilience in the face of intense adversary, but Jim Carrey, before he got it big, Jim's dad had a job as an accountant, and then his dad got let go from that job when Jim was only 12 years old, and then they became homeless. So they had to live inside of a van, and knowing that Jim Carrey overcame being homeless and being in intense poverty and to being where he's at now and even Dwayne Johnson, from what I
Yeah.
understand, he had only $7 in his name, and knowing that nowadays he definitely doesn't have to worry about having that tiny amount of money now.
Right. And also sleeping in somebody else's trailer, which he at some point in the future gave honor and amends to by looking out for the gentleman and buying him a car, amongst many other things that he has done to look out for that gentleman. So that's another great story. And he did that through wrestling with his physical attributes. Jim Carrey, found a release through humor and was able to turn that around and make that his biggest weapon through his sadness. And the same thing for Tyler Perry as well too, who was somebody who slept in his car for quite some time before becoming, the big screenwriter that he is right now, owning his own studio in Atlanta, Georgia, and creating all of the stories that he currently creates, starting with Medea and all of those, plays that he did. He also went through Adversary before becoming a household name. And he also went through finding certain things in his life and making it into comedy that related to other people. So they found a way to, in dark situations, um, utilize their experiences to be able to find a way to relate to people. Same thing with The Rock. Even with wrestling, he had to find a way to be relatable to the audience, to become the big star that he is right now because he always had the personability. All of them turned it around and found the light in the darkness, and then was able to find to shine that light for other people, which made them personable. And that is the main lesson for all of that. How you can switch a dark thing and turn it around.
Yeah, exactly. It reminds me of a quote from Rocky Balboa. It's not
Mhm.
about how hard you get hit, but how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
Correct. So that's where it gets back to the nose. You're gonna get a lot of these hits of no's in the industry before you get the acceptance of a yes. And each and every yes is a triumph to let you know where you're at in your growth. And each and every no is not a blockage, but something to let you know where you can grow at, or let you know that it wasn't the time for something of that nature. You have something else forward to look, to look forward to. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And so with all the films you've been involved with, how about that you tell my audience? So how exactly? So with your experiences like with doing those films, and from what I recall, you mentioned you did independent films. How were those experiences like?
Yes, I've done mostly independent films, and I would say two or three big screen films. One hasn't been released yet because I did one recently. But it when I say I've done these films, usually I'm on set and I was chosen to kind of like be a certain type of background or whatever have you. Sometimes you'll make it on set for filming, sometimes you won't, but you still will get credited and paid for your time there. But when it comes to the independent films, the couple or that I have done in the past, one was for dancing when I was really young, and I think it was kind of like documentary style about certain types of artistry and creatives in Boston, and that was in my teen years. And then there was another one that I did in my late teen years where I was not only playing a martial arts instructor in the independent film, but I also had to choreograph the martial arts scene between two of the main characters, which was amazing to be able to kind of work that out, or between one of the main characters and me. So after being able to have that experience, it was wonderful to kind of like get an action film experience in that, and work on my acting skills. And then outside of the independent films, I did a few plays as well too with the dance company that I was a part of, called Originations Cultural Arts. So with them, they produce and still do to this day produce a play. Now it's two, but they did one once a year during Kwanzaa, and I would have to play different parts, but you still have to audition for them. So that auditioning process allowed me to work on my artistry as well as being a much more profound dancer, because then I would be able to emote the music or the words of the artist while dancing better. So then I did that, and then I had three big screen movie opportunities, but the one that I made it on set for, you can barely see me, but I'm still there. It would be I Feel Pretty with Amy Schumer, that was released in 2017. And
Nice.
yeah, which was pretty cool. And I got that through Boston Casting, and the other two through Boston Casting as well too. I was in holding and for Equalizer 2, because both of those were filmed in Massachusetts. The third one was filmed in Italy, I think. But the second one, I did go on holding for one of the scenes. Didn't get a chance to make it on the scene, but nonetheless, I was still there, got the credits, amazing. And then the most recent one is a thriller that M. Night Shyamalan is currently filming with Jake Gyllenhaal. So that was recent this year, and you guys will probably see it next year in the future. Holding as well too. Never got a chance to make it on set. Um, and there's a so that was a good opportunity to at least experience and make some networking with that. So there's other opportunities that are also being given from Boston Casting that I had to look into, and it's amazing that they're giving me these opportunities. So I'm trying to work on which ones will be the best, like we were talking about earlier, making sure that my role and my look will go correctly for whatever character roles that they're looking for the certain types of films or commercials that they're looking for in the Boston area right now. So those are some of my experiences, but I guess the most profound one would be the one where I played a martial art instructor and had to choreograph the fight scene for that.
Well, and I mean, given your background in dance, I mean, it definitely would make sense that they would cast you in that role.
Mhm.
So yeah, but yeah, all that definitely sounds like really exciting opportunities.
Yes. Yeah, definitely good, and looking forward to expanding my future acting opportunities to see where they go. So which is why I was serious about seeing what I could learn that I probably haven't learned yet throughout my years of just being an artist. As mostly a dancing artist, but I have tried for things before in the acting realm, like the Broadway play that I was telling you about, which was called In the Heights. So that was like dancing and acting as well. But with that being said, I wanted to enhance different types of techniques and at least put that into my repertoire. And I'm happy that I was able to learn some of those things at National Performers Academy, because I feel more confident and more prepared to have more versatility when it comes to acting, especially if I'm able to produce the physical look, which is also very important. The
Right.
artistry and like the artistry and the skills and the craft that you have in your craft, and the look, if you're able to produce the look that they're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I mean, just having the opportunity like to work with Amy Schumer and yeah, and I mean that is all stuff that for your acting resume, it definitely is gonna look amazing on that.
Yeah, thank you. Very
Yeah.
fun stuff. I currently have opportunities to potentially work on another film that is being filmed in Boston called Cheesesteak. That is with ooh, um, and it's so funny that I got a blink, but I can see his face. It's so funny. Uh, he's from Boston, and he's well known as well too. So I mean, maybe you can help me with drawing the blank. Sorry about this audience. This is so bad. Because as a Bostonian, I should know this. But he
Right.
he's related to his brother. Basically, used to be a part of New Kids on the Block. So, but he's an actor now. He's done movies like Teddy. Oh man. Um, well, I'm drawing a blank, but there's a movie that is being filmed in Boston right now called Cheesesteak. So there's opportunities that I have to basically
Okay.
attach myself to some of
I
those filmings as
think.
well right now. Yeah, I don't can't think of the name right now, and it messes up my mind because obviously there's like two main big actors that come from Boston right now, and one of them is Ben Affleck, and then the other one, you know, does mostly action films and sometimes comedy films as well too. But yes,
I mean, I have a feeling you might be talking about Mark Wahlberg.
that's the one. That's the one exactly. Because I was drawing a blank on the Wahlberg, but definitely Wahlberg. Because their family have the Wahlburgers restaurant. So yes, Mark Wahlberg is
But
filming a movie called Tuesday.
nice, awesome, yeah. And
Yeah.
I actually have a friend of mine who actually got the opportunity, I'm like to meet Mark Wahlberg once, and yeah, and I mean, yeah, and I mean, getting to meet Mark Wahlberg. I mean, yeah, I mean, talk about quite the exciting opportunity.
Right. So there's a potential to be able to do that because he's filming throughout this month in the Boston area. And it depends on if it works on with like my scheduling with the classes that I teach and with work. So sometimes I'm able to take the opportunity, sometimes I'm not. Because also when you take these opportunities, there's no guarantee, even though you say yes, that they're going to ask you to come on board and give you the time frame. And even if you come on board, there's no guarantee that you'll be on set. So most times just go for the experience and to be able to grow and network if you go on set, then that's an amazing cherry on top of the cake. But I just want to also, give people that heads up, so that they don't get disappointed. And also the wait times are very long. Sometimes you'll be there for a full 8 to 10 hours, just in case they may need your look, but they may never use you. But you will meet a lot of wonderful people, just like in a way how I met you in National Performance Academy. You will meet a lot of other people where you can get a chance to network. So it's always if you're able to do so, amazing to try to go and be a part of a movie, no matter the role. Because even from a background role, you can actually be upgraded to a speaking role because something about your look was very profound, or you had what they were looking for, and then they just write you into the script, and that happens a lot.
Yeah, exactly. And then after I took National Performance Academy, I actually got to be in like a country music video. And it's funny
Yeah,
because that's exactly what happened to me. I was just going to be an extra, but then I was at the right place at the right time, and then I got offered a bigger role with a fight scene,
the
and
fight
I was like, well,
team.
does
Yeah,
a bear crap in the woods? Of course I would want that. And again, with some of the people who I met on set, I actually met somebody like who has connections to Adam Sandler. And so yeah, and I am definitely not gonna lie, out of all acting opportunities I've had, that definitely was the most fun that I ever had. And what's crazy is that prior to that fight scene that I had zero training like in MMA and and yeah, and I feel very flattered that everybody who saw the music video, they all have said that, wow, you had no training in MMA or any of that, and all that fighting you did, it looks so real.
yeah, definitely. I saw it myself. I was really happy to see you in that to get your shine real quick, and I was definitely blown back by how realistic that you guys made it seem as well too. Whether it was a freestyle movement, which most of those can be, unless it's choreographed. And was it choreographed, or was it something that you guys were kind of
Correct.
like feeding off of each other?
Yeah, and so pretty much, so yeah, like they showed me how to do it, but yeah, it's just So basically, like he and then so like with the impact of the punch, so it would be like that,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. So
yeah,
they
and then
taught you the techniques of how to make it look realistic. Got you.
exactly, yeah, and I guess with my long hair, like whenever I would, do those fake reactions to getting punched like that, my hair would go everywhere. And I kind of feel like that's actually where having long hair actually came to my advantage.
Yes, it added dramatics. It added emotion. Exactly. So pros and cons to having long hair or not. And a lot of pros to being having a versatile look, whether you have like hair that can be pinned up or put to the side, which is why I got my hair in a bun right now, as opposed to hanging down. Sorry about you guys if it was kind of like looking like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, but I have it bunned up. And there's different ways. Sometimes you can wear a ball cap just to have a certain look, but the more versatile you look, the more of a percentage that you'll also get booked. But also, thinking about things of that nature where the hair naturally added a certain type of extra dramatic flair that other people didn't account for or write in. Those things also happen all the time, and that's where the magic comes from filming. So I'm glad that you had that experience and that worked in the favor for the because it looked so dang good, man. It did. I was like, I can't wait to see like more of that too as well. So that was amazing.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
yeah, and I certainly greatly appreciate that.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it really goes to show that that if being at the right place at the right time, if it can happen to me, then
Yeah.
then it really truly can happen to anybody.
Correct. Right place, right time. And if you want right place, right time usually is like the universe working in divine timing. But if you want to enhance the percentages more on your behalf, preparation is also important too. Right place, right timing, and being prepared.
Exactly, yeah. And but yeah, definitely understanding your character definitely does help because of course when you're playing a character, although you can play a character who's very similar to you, yes, but at the same time, they are not you. You are being someone else.
Yeah. Right. And that is important too. I think they did definitely try to find in National Performance Academy, for example, in our classes, they try to find ways to allow us to find authenticity within the characters that we were or trying to portray or the lines that we were talking about, what kind of characters we were trying to build in some of these commercials like the Subways commercials or the bubblegum commercials and stuff like that. Each and every one of them was hitting to a different audience or pertaining to a different audience, even the Sonic commercial with all the different flavors. And not only did we have to learn the lines, but we had to develop a character that was authentic. And when we were given a character, we had to find a way to pull ourselves or certain aspects of ourselves in that character to make it come to life. So yeah, I agree with you on that.
Yeah, and it's really funny about how you mentioned all the commercials I like for the Sonic fast food restaurant because honestly, I'm really surprised that with all these Sonic movies now, I'm really surprised that there never has been any tie-in because it would be perfect, and especially since that Sonic sells like the onion rings, which can be perfect for Sonic's gold rings, and on top of that,
Hello.
Sonic's favorite food, like his chili dogs, and Sonic actually sells chili dogs, so it's like I'm really surprised. I'm really surprised that Sega never tried to take advantage of that.
And they're the fastest servers because they're on roller skates. Ah, I know some, but yeah, I agree. You get that they don't stop. But I agree with you on that. I agree with you on that for sure. Sometimes companies either maybe miss the mark and kind of don't see it, or there's other legalities in the business aspect of the,
Oh yeah.
behind the scenes that we don't see when it comes to that. But that would be great. I've seen companies and trademarks come together before to be able to enhance a product or something, to give what they call product company awareness or something of that nature, to promote the company's business. So that would have been a beautiful thing, Sonic and Sonic. It makes sense. So I'm glad that you even thought of that, and they haven't yet. So I don't know. I don't know what's up with that, but hopefully they do. I mean, I don't eat Sonic anymore, but that would be something cool to watch,
Oh yeah,
especially with the
certainly.
movie
And
out.
funny you mentioned the roller skates. It's because that the character Shadow, although they're not strictly roller skates, but just the way how he runs in it though, I'm pretty confident to say that it probably was inspired by people on roller skates, and so then therefore, if they ever do a tie-in, of the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise with the Sonic fast
Yeah.
food restaurant,
Yeah.
for all the people on the roller skates, they could probably just have them like dressed up like as the character, like of,
Shadow.
just Shadow. It would make perfect sense.
Yes. It all ties in, as a matter of fact, to all of that. So I love how you tied in the food to some of the things that are specific to the Sonic movie, and then obviously them being on roller skates just adds the touch to it. So that all of that makes sense, and it would be kind of cool to see that happen one day, because there could be a lot of, once again, creative promotions that could come out of that team being together. So I think you see the you see the dream and the vision, and I actually see it, since you brought it up as well too, that it, some cool things could actually come out of it visually.
Oh yeah, certainly so. And so that actually made me think of my next question for you. If
Okay.
you had any dream role on that you could play, uh, what would your dream role be?
Good question. It would be a role that can encompass comedy with action. And I love to do action films, especially being trained in certain styles of wushu, Chinese wushu, kung fu, and martial arts, and even Japanese and other different styles as well too. So having any type of a way that I can incorporate that artistry into an action film while having some comedic relief would be awesome, and maybe doing something that's similar to like a Blade movie, or I guess you could say a branch off of Matrix or something of that nature. Any of those movies would be kind of cool, futuristic looking. That would be amazing. Or even something that is maybe back in the day, past a historical type of film, but incorporates a certain type of action. I think that would probably be my dream role. And then also being able to speak a different language, because I'm naturally a hyper polyglot. So I pick up different languages quickly, but I'm not a master at all of them. I just need a teacher. But I would be able to do extremely well in a film that would have my character speaking different languages. So yeah, that would be cool too.
Yeah, and now that you mention it, I definitely can picture like wearing those like um those like black shades with like the black coat, and and then holding a gun. But yeah, and I mean, to any casting director like who's making a movie like that, and if they need somebody to look like a badass wearing all that, you have your person here.
Yeah, and then I also even have on social media my one video of me doing one of the plump sword exercises that I did in front of an audience, where I also was doing it in a traditional Chinese gi as well too, with my black belt sash and the sword that I have, that I still actually have right up there as well too, that I practice with some of my forms, and whether it's Tai Chi swords or kung fu swords forms. So yeah. That would be nice to kind of like explore that, to develop a character with that, and see, what goes, where it goes, for sure.
Oh yeah,
That would be cool.
certainly so. And well, I definitely do hope that that gets to happen for you soon.
Thank you. And also, thank you for seeing, because we all had a beautiful group of talented people, including yourself. I saw how studious you were, how you were able to switch up and take in the notes that Kat was giving us, and all the instructors that we also had as well too, that when they gave us instructions, you were able to not only write that down, but also bring it forth quickly. So you had just a wonderful knack for that. So we had a lot of very talented people in the group, and some with different textures of talent, and very funny and authentic, and it was amazing to meet all of the people that we had. So I'm also glad that you were able to see something within me as well too, while we were all training at the same time, and to be able to be motivated to want to have me on the podcast as well. So I appreciate you for
Oh
that.
yeah. Oh yeah, certainly. Of course, anytime.
Mhm.
And yeah, and and both of us definitely took that risk I
Yeah.
mean, both of us took that risk, like with National Performers Academy, and it's just a real shame that there's so many people out there who are too afraid to take risks, and then years and years will go by, and then they will reflect back on it, and then they will then wish that they would have taken that chance. And yeah, and I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes, sometimes in life, you do have to take risks. It's because when you
Yeah.
do take risk, and I mean, just the rewards on the other side will be amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I do believe that the saying, if you shoot for the moons and you don't land on it, but you'll land at least amongst the stars, is very important and quite true. You may not always get the role that you're looking for or the bullseye, but in the process of trying out for that or pushing yourself out of that comfort zone, you get a chance to evolve, because you never do get a chance to evolve if you're always comfortable. You have we all learn and we all grow when we kind of go through uncomfortable situations, because that is a new learning environment that now adds something better to our arsenal. Sometimes we're lucky to actually be successful in that. But even when I say being successful, like booking something or getting the actual result that we're looking for. But even if we don't get that result, the other one is just as important. What we learn and how we grow from that, and all of those opportunities, win or lose, is a win-win, if you will. Uh, you're always going to
Yeah.
get something out of it.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like a lot of people are afraid to, to take those chances in life is because that they're just scared that what if it doesn't work out? While I do understand where they're coming from, but the other
Yeah.
side of that coin is that what if it actually does?
What if it actually does? You'll be surprised at yourself. Honestly, yes. Um, and the best way I've found for myself, and for other people it may be different, but I'm hoping that the commonality, that all of us can push through something that is uncomfortable for us, or that is very nerve wracking, because of course something like that can bring you anxiety. Train, just continue to try to train in this artistry, in this craft, so that the confidence and the pure joy of wanting to do what you're doing when you do it by yourself or in the mirror or with certain people that you are comfortable with can actually start to grow, and you'll be able to still potentially flourish in situations that you're not comfortable with because of your joy for the craft. Don't let the joy be smoldered by your anxiety. Let it be the other way around. Let your anxiety be relaxed and soothed and tranquiled by your and by basically your joy of the craft in itself. That joy should always propel you forward, even in moments where you're kind of scared and anxious. It should propel you forward. Yeah, and then
Yeah,
potentially you might make it.
yeah, certainly so. And I mean, yeah, and I mean, life is just, I mean, life is just way too, it's just way too short.
Yeah, it is. And we need more light too. So anything that all of you guys have to offer, to share all any type of craft and artistry, we all want to see it. We all want to be connected to it. That's what humanity is all about, and we need more of that. We need more artistry. We need more sharing of the creativity. We need more love. So whatever you guys have to offer, if anything that you take from this podcast is to definitely add yourself to the beautiful palette of the world of color. Whatever your artistry is, bring it forth. We want to see it. Don't let no
Oh
no's
yeah,
stop you.
certainly. And and everybody here on the planet, all of them have something that they have to give to the universe, whether if it's on the creative level or on the philosophical level.
Right.
I mean all of us certainly do have our all of us certainly do have our spot here.
Yeah, it's enough room for everybody. And that's why we're here on this podcast. I'm here for, I have an opportunity to have this platform to express to you guys not only like my history, and where it's led to me now, but also to be able to try to motivate you guys to have that story so that you can motivate other people.
Hmm.
And hopefully that we'll all be able to get a chance to see your artistry, your story, your craft. So yeah, like I'm so happy that we've had this opportunity, because this is awesome.
Oh yeah, man, certainly.
Yeah.
So that about does her. And so, is there anything upcoming for you that you would want the audience to be aware of? And if people want to follow you, well, like on any social media platform, where can people follow you?
That's great. So, before I answer what the upcoming projects are, if you would like to follow me, that would be a blessing and an honor. And I always love to follow people back as well too, so I can authentically connect with you guys. If you're mostly on Facebook, my profile is my full name, Tyrone, Tyrone, like Nate E. Kevin. Of course, you can't misspell that. And Perry, like Tyler Perry with a P. And if you're on Instagram, then it would be at symbol, my first name Tyrone, underscore my middle initial K, and another underscore my last name Perry. And you'll find me more than likely with my dreads when I had them flipping up like that. And future projects, I'm currently right now in a couple of hours. I'm working with some teenagers because there's a Sweet 16 that I'm actually creative directing the choreography for the party. So that's another new thing under my belt where I'm actually creative directing a performance for a dance for a Sweet 16 with certain dancers and teenagers to make that dream come to life. I also do weekly classes at Chi Dance Studios in Chestnut Hill of Massachusetts. So if you're ever in Massachusetts and you want to learn either whacking, which is a disco style, or you want to learn any type of like my choreography and be able to kind of grow in that, I teach classes at a very affordable studio. We only do $20 for 90 minutes and even less for the hour classes and private lessons. And then in my social media, I like to do free lessons on some of my posts as well to assist you in your artistry of being a dancer or exploring that realm if you want to. I make things seem less daunting and more easy and fun. So you're always welcome to come and take a class with me if you like, or learn with me online. We can do that as well too. And yeah, so those are the opportunities. And there's potentially, like if my the universe aligns my schedule with what I'm getting with Boston Casting, I may be in a movie pretty soon where there's background work or even further. So because I'm getting a lot of those, like I even have one now that I have to check after this and see if it's something that I can take or not. But yeah,
Awesome.
definitely.
Awesome. Well, I certainly greatly appreciate you sharing all that. And yeah, and all those upcoming opportunities for you. I definitely will look forward to, well, yeah, I definitely will look forward to checking all of those out.
Thank you. I mean, you've been a wonderful supporter. You always like a lot of the stories and videos, my posts. I truly appreciate everything, even the comments that you give. And likewise, want to be able to share and everything with the podcast and all the things that you're doing upon all your endeavors. And happy that we met and can't wait to see what the years of us knowing each other flourishes to. So thank you.
Yeah, certainly, of course, anytime. But anyways, thank you all for, but yeah, thank you all for watching. You all have a fantastic day.
You guys, bye bye.
Later.